Everyone. Today we have Phillip Dopson. He is VP of Design and Retail for Morrison Living. Welcome, Phillip.
Well, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And just before we started, we were kind of talking about just senior dining in general and how a lot of people it still has that stigma of like, oh, the old nursing home, and it's something it's kind of people are afraid to send their loved ones, but it's changing and more people are going there, like with the baby boomer population. So we just had been kind of talking about like why this is important for everybody because everybody's life is going to be touched by it.
Yeah, I think, as you think about the next decade and the number of people retiring, the boomers coming into the space, we really are focused on making it more like Main Street. So a retail experience, choices, not just a dining room, but places to go to get different experiences and really experiences beyond food. So experience and atmosphere and the way you might even dress to go to those locations so that when people do make a choice to retire in one of these beautiful communities, life can continue on as much like it was before in a much safer place to be than traveling around going to different locations in your normal life. So, I hope people will begin to see that it's far more than it was, 20 years ago. And I think with technology and robotics and design and just the demand of who's coming, it's going to evolve much quicker.
Mhm.
And we think about the pandemic and what people have had to go through alone,
Yeah.
will that affect their choice to either speed up or slow down moving into, you know, the senior living environment? And I think that's yet to come, but we definitely have some great opportunity.
Right, right. And that's what we're going to be getting into is robotics. That's what we're here to talk about today.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to learn more about that. And that's I think that's just interesting in all aspects of our life. Like what role are robots going to play and how is that going to look? So I want to talk about the future, like big picture, but let's talk about like present day currently. What are robots doing in senior dining like at the moment?
So it really started for us, experiencing a robot in Northern California in a pizza restaurant, thinking, wow, this has application, right? And so um, we were in Northern California. We thought, let's pick an account in Northern California. Obviously, people being in that tech environment, most likely retiring from it, would probably have a faster adoption to something like a robot,
Oh,
right?
that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. If they had been working with that their whole lives and tinkering.
Right. They would understand technology and kind of where it was going. And
Mhm.
so we thought, let's pilot the robot as a server assistant busser, if you will. And that was where we jumped off with Bear Robotics and instead of having bus stations, we had robot stations. So the servers would bus into the robot, and when the robot got to its weight limit, it would then drive itself to the dish room where someone would unload it and it would return.
That's
And
cool.
that's really where we started.
Okay, so this was kind of a front of the house to back of the house function, and
Correct.
it's in a cleaning up kind of function.
Right.
So that makes sense. And so that's kind of leads to my next question, where it's like, do you think that robots will be in use more, as you said, like with the pizza making robot? I think we've all seen like little demos of those. I've definitely seen videos, have not seen one in person. But are they kind of like behind the scenes, or do you see them more as coming to the front of the house and being that server, or maybe both?
I don't think the hospitality piece can be replaced,
No.
especially in an aging population, right? So it's how do we give our staff opportunities to make their life easier and their jobs easier and maybe even make things more efficient, right?
Mhm.
So um, Sally the robot, the salad making robot, is something we are deploying now. We've got two of them out in full action. So
Mhm.
you think about salad bars and buffets and senior living, it's a huge piece, and the pandemic has taken those away just from a food safety standpoint.
Yeah.
So Sally the robot has great application because now people can get a fresh salad made exactly the way they want, when they want it, via a robot. So it didn't really take anyone's job away. It didn't do anything other than give the residents back what they wanted, which was to
Right.
make that choice themselves.
Right. Yeah, I think salad bars, like definitely like my colleagues, like when this pandemic hit, that was one of the first things that we talked about was like, oh my gosh, like so many of the folks who we write about have salad bars and customization had been such a big thing and like your own choice.
Yep.
been such a big thing. So that's cool that Sally the robot, and we've definitely written about her several times,
Yeah.
and that kind of like I'm personifying it. I'm making it seem like she's a person, which is a weird, kind of like area to be going into. So I had wondered, with so many people living like into the hundreds, like there's like it's almost not even an unusual thing anymore. Like, oh, they're 100. Like that's cool.
Right.
I mean, of course you'd be like, that's awesome. You're turning 100, but there's many people who are living into the century long. So it's like a lot of these people in nursing homes, they can remember when the radio was like new technology where they were like, what in the world? What is this? And certainly like TV is coming out and like
Yep.
I think like and my parents both who are in their 70s can remember like getting a TV. Like they certainly didn't grow up with that. So it's I wondered if you had any like sort of reactions from some of the residents to this stuff.
Very great question. So actually, yes, and I think it came from some of our older residents first. They wanted to humanize this robot immediately. So I think two things happened. They totally agreed with us that it was making the people that served them life easier.
Hmm.
And so those robots became part of the staff, and they immediately wanted to give them names and have them wear name tags and have them come to lineup meetings and be a part of the culture. And so when you think of someone in their 90s experiencing a robot, it's really a cool thing to think about. And then they wanted to make it as human as possible, right? And they went on from there to say, we need more of these. What if the robot could seat us? So it would make it easier on the staff, and the robot would actually walk them to their table with the menus. And so all of a sudden the residents begin telling us how to use the robots even more. And it was all around the premise of we want to make those that take care of us jobs easier. And they see these young people that serve them every day, and they're stressed and they're running to take care of them. And so if the robot can do something to make their job easier, why not? So it's been a really cool experience to see people of that age interact with technology and give it that human um, connotation, if you will.
Yeah, very much so. So it's and I love the idea that it's not replacing that human touch. It's not taking anyone's job,
Yeah,
but it's helping the workers that are like super underappreciated at times who
absolutely.
are there on the front line. So this is something that can help them out. I think that's great. All right. Well, I think we are about at our time now. So I'm definitely going to keep following up with you if that's okay with you. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I would love to have you back on the show sometime. And as time goes on, we're all curious about what's going to happen. So thank you so much for taking the time
You are
today.
welcome. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.